Hello, Alyssa. How you doing today?
I'm doing fabulous. How are you doing?
I'm doing spectacular today. I kind of want to chat a little bit about this idea or this conversation that I've heard people having, and they're constantly asking the question is, why is it so hard, or I don't want it to be hard, or how can you make it easy, and all this kind of stuff. This constant question of why is it so hard, and the I want to unpack that a little bit. Most people we serve, just to be clear, we're serving, active adults, right? Busy professionals, people who typically have struggled with weight at different portions of their life. Many times we're rarely the first stop for some individuals. For most individuals, most of our clients are 40s, 50s, or older, and I think even the conversation today with fitness, especially because a lot of our clients are females, begin at a younger age. So do you remember how old you were when you started to even think about dieting and or changing your life or health or any of that when it came into your awareness?
Yeah, probably sixth or seventh grade, I want to say, because we were doing this like science class and everyone had to get up on the scale. Because I think we were like doing some weird BMI or something along those lines. And I was heavier than most of the other girls my age. So that's when I sort of first started being like, well, I should probably do something. And then the summer before eighth grade, I actually did like Dance Dance Revolution, if anyone remembers that. Super fun, for like an hour every day. And I lost some weight. And that's when my dad said, he was worried about my health and what it would be like if I hadn't started changing my lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
And then throughout high school, of course, but it really started in middle school.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And, and we've had clients as young as 7, years old, so it just shows that the conversation, is a life thing. So then people show up at Seeing You Fit. They see some of the testimonials, they see, the success that other people's had. And then they're like, I want to do it too. But I think I've explained to one client recently, it's like you show up the way you are. The way you are today is not going to be the same person that reaches your goals, because the person you are cannot reach your goal. And I mean, it sounds almost insulting, but it's not. It's that we grow into our goals. We'll develop new habits and new behaviors, and that will lead us to the goals that we want. So we become new or different. In that respect, it's not necessarily like, hey, I'm just going to keep on doing whatever I want to do, the same things I've been doing, and because I'm paying you, all of a sudden I can fit this dress in the back of my closet, right? It's, you're going to hold me accountable, you're going to give me the tools and the resources, but I have to do the work. And I think that's where this question of, man, it's so hard, or, it's different, because, our competition, I used to say for years, is the couch, right? I've had a busy day. I just need to relax, or I'm so fatigued already and I didn't even do anything. So I just need to stop moving altogether. Or it's the diet industry. And I'm not going to go on my soapbox like I normally do on the diet industry and how it destroys your metabolism in there. But it's built on this idea that fitness can be easy.
Yeah.
It's just that somebody else invented or found this new herb or this new bean or this new ancient recipe. New ancient. And people love it. They're like, it's a new ancient recipe. Like, if it's ancient, it's not new. And this idea that okay, now I'm ready. What do I have to do to sprint? But you can't sprint it. This is a marathon. It's when we say with fitness is a lifestyle, it has to be this behavior change that happens over time. And the journey has a lot of failure tied to it.
Yeah.
And so I think, the answer to why is it so challenging? I even heard someone recently say, well, if it's hard, I don't want to do it. Well, I guess it's like, it's going to be hard. You just have to pick your hard.
Mm-hmm.
Right. It's going to be challenging, and we don't like the word hard, so we'll pick challenging, but it's going to be challenging. You get to figure out which one's your challenge. It's going to be painful, but you got to pick your pain.
Mm-hmm.
There's this old adage, real popular, the motivational sphere. It's like, you either face the pain of change, or the pain of regret, or something like that, or the pain of discipline, or the pain of regret. But that's real. It's going to be inconvenient now. It's going to be really inconvenient then. And you have to figure out, is developing these new habits that are going to support me long term, the pain of doing that, a lower price to pay than the habit of injecting insulin into my body every single day. Mm-hmm. The habit of being winded when bending over to tie my shoes. It's like, which one do you really want? The habit of feeling disgust and failure when you look in the mirror, is that the pain that is acceptable, or is the pain that is acceptable getting up when it's raining or I'm not feeling like going out there and I'm just doing what I need to do? Mm-hmm. I was thinking about this morning. I like those Kodiak pancakes because, one, I love pancakes, and two, they have a good amount of protein in it. I was making my pancakes, and I have my food scale, and I put my bowl on this food scale and I press 0. Mm-hmm. I pour out pancakes and I look at what the number adds up to. Mm-hmm. And then I add my water and everything else. And I was thinking, I was like, that all took all of like 5 seconds. Mm-hmm. But that's the stuff that people tell me all the time. I can't do that. That's just too much. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, but the other side is that I'm going to be on medication. The other side is that, I can't play with my kids or my grandkids. The other side is that I don't feel confident in my clothes. Mm-hmm. And I'm telling you, as someone who used to be overweight, and I remember going into rooms, I remember my shirt was like so tight, like I struggled to breathe, but if I unbuttoned it, then it would look unprofessional. It affected how my confidence was, or how I felt about myself. So I always had to buy something a little bit too big so I can breathe. Mm-hmm. The right size, it was too tight, and if it was in pictures, like I can get into a headshot, but when I gain weight, like my head looked like it swells. So the headshots never did me anything good. I always tell people, you look at my before picture, I look like a milk dud. It's just like round and dark. So it's just something that I see a pervasive thought. Mm-hmm. It's easier to kind of talk with you a little bit, or I feel like I'm talking at you. But it's something that I see, common, where it's like, I don't want to do the hard thing.
Yeah.
And there's no shortcutting that journey. Mm-hmm. Because it doesn't matter, there's all this stuff, and I don't want to name things out there because I'm going to hit something that's somebody's favorite and make me mad at me. And they say, I guess in your 20s, you care what people think about you or something like that. In your 40s, you don't really care that much, and in your 60s, you realize that nobody was thinking about you altogether. Yeah. But I still don't want to offend or bother people. But there's so many things. It's like, oh, this was so easy. And all those things I see, if they're not changing your core habits, this is the key to success in this space here, right? You have to change the core habits. And if you're not changing the core habits and building this new habit or habituation of living, so to speak, then you're not going to accomplish your goals long term.
Absolutely.
I talk to people all the time. They're like, I'll just do this for 3 months. I'll do it for 6 months. And then I'm like, what happens then? See, there's a reason why fit people work out. Mm-hmm. Right?
That's how they got there, but that's also how they stay there. That's right. An object in motion stays in motion, right? An object at rest stays at rest. So it's the same when it comes to your body. If you want to maintain results, if you want to maintain a lifestyle, you have to do the maintenance work. You wouldn't never get an oil change on your car and expect it to keep driving, for 20 years. It's not going to happen, right?
Yeah, those are those people who tell the stories about their cousin who blew up their engine, or even better, right? It's like, hopefully you're showering on a regular basis and means multiple times a week or day. So, at least once a day. But anywho, depending on your hygiene level, at least, multiple times a week. But no one takes one shower and like, man, I'm good. Like, I got it. It's like, no, but I showered for like a month straight.
That's enough.
That's enough. It doesn't stop there, right? No. I'm like really I'm totally committed. I'm gonna shower for the next 6 months. No, you just gotta like dial it in that if your personal hygiene is important to you, it's just gonna be something you do for the rest of your life. Mm-hmm. And there's a common adage. We say things that we don't realize what we say, right? We say things like, if you don't have your health, you don't have anything. But we don't invest in our health the way we invest in other things. Mm-hmm. So why is it challenging is because the way if I'm a 55-year-old female, right? Very common, normal, regular client, 55-year-old female, right? That means I have at least 30 to 40 years, if not more, based on your age thing that you said, of diet. And everything I've learned and everything I've done got me to the place where I need to lose because of these things. Everything I've done, everything that I've learned has got me to today. So if I'm not happy with where today is, then I have to go through the process of changing, but realize that I can't just change 45 years in a short period of time. Because, go ahead.
There's a scientific reason for that too. This is like your favorite topic, Evans, neuroplasticity, right? This idea that, I'm reading a book right now and it's talking a lot about how your brain is wired to create ruts, habits. If you notice anything, right, it starts off really tough. And then the more you do it, the easier it becomes over time. It's like learning to walk, right? If you're a baby, right? It's super hard when you first start out, you're falling all over the place and then you get a little bit of hang of it, you get a little bit more, and then before you know it, you're running. Well, that's your brain creating these neural pathways. And every time it's like reinvigorating that pathway, it's redetermining that pathway. So, just like driving a car through mud, right? The first time it's really tough. And then the more people do it, there becomes a rut there. And it's like, okay, cool. You drive through the rut, it becomes really easy. Well, every year, every time you do a habit, every day, you're creating these neural pathways in your brain that's sort of wiring you to think and do certain things. That's tough to undo, and it takes time. It's not an instant like, yeah, let me just uncross this wire and we're good to go. No, we have to start creating these pathways and these ruts in a positive direction that may take, everyone's different. I mean, it may take, months. For most people, it takes years. It takes years of unlearning the habits and those mental pathways that we've built up over the term of our lifetime.
Absolutely. And as you're describing these vehicles driving through mud, it gave me such a strong visual because like the tire lines are only but so thick. So maybe coming out of it, right? So it's the wheel can probably drop to like half of the distance. The rut can be like half the distance of the wheel, and it's easy. Once you get into the rut, you just coast. But trying to get out of that bad boy, you can almost damage the car if you try to like pull out of it too fast, too hard, and every time you get a little bit, it's going to want to swing you right back into that. So that's such a powerful visual with how our brain is wired, is to save time. We're designed to be lazy. And, we don't like that. Like no one likes to be called lazy. Like, oh, I'm just lazy, but that's how we're designed. That's how our body saves energy. That's the reason why we survived, through, all these, generations and millennia, right? Is that our body finds unique ways to conserve energy. So similarly, when we're looking at creating this habit, what we want to look at is like, not ask ourselves a question, why is it hard? The question is it worth it? And then put systems in place and commit to follow those systems that will keep us consistent down a worthy path. Yeah. See, it's not the easy path or the hard path, because here's the deal, like what starts off easy will end up hard. And what starts hard will end easy.
Yeah.
We have clients right now. We have a couple clients, and some of them in their 70s and their 80s. And I mean, one, they don't even look that way, and two, they move like they're in their 30s. It's amazing to me. But they've built this lifestyle. Some of our ladies are like we have one lady, who's been with us through the Curves transition for over 20 years, and now doing semi-private training. And I mean, her body moves like a 40-year-old or 30-year-old, and she's well into her 70s plus. Without all the, like when she gets up and moves around, you don't go, man, that's an older lady. You go, well, that's just a lady moving. Like you don't even. And then we have other people, sometimes I get up, I'm like, oh, but my whole life she's been exercising, 3 days a week consistently my whole life. So the reason why it's challenging and the reason why it's so hard is because you're rebuilding new habits. And so don't get, I challenge, if you're here and you're still even watching at this point, don't, fall into the mindset of, just give me something easy and I'll do it. And if it gets hard, I don't want to do it. Basically, if you don't want to do it because it's hard, what you're saying is, I really want to be committed to the way I am for the rest of my life. The challenge with that mindset, though, is that you won't stay the way you are the rest of our life. See, in nature, you're either rotting all the time or you're ripening. Nothing just stays right. Looking at this banana, it came in a couple of days ago and it was nice. It was green. You can even see like some parts. I don't know how much you can see, but it was green, and now you can see that it went from green to yellow to brownish. And if I pull this up in 2 days, now it probably won't last another day in our house. But if you pull it up in 2 days, this thing's going to be like dark because it's going through the rotting process. And so we have to choose that we're going to ripen or rotten. And if I don't move towards my goal, I am aging.
Right.
So in essence, I'm rotting if I'm not getting better as I'm aging, so that's just, some of the things I really want people to embrace in their psyche is like, hey, what's my goal? Initially, your goal shouldn't even be to lose weight. I go, Evans, you always told that you guys helped all these thousands of people lose all these tens of thousands of pounds. And now you're telling me don't lose weight. Yep. If you want to lose the weight and keep it off, your goal should not be weight loss. Your goal should be new habits.
Absolutely. Now, the results will come.
Correct. On the other side of new habits are better weight. Because here's the deal, right? I don't know how many people consciously put food in their mouth, meaning I'm sitting down and I'm going, yes, I'm going to eat 25 grams of carbs, right? Now, initially, you don't know this is 25 grams of carbs. So when you first start, you have to start with learning what is food. It seems like, why do you have to teach a 60-year-old what is food? Because our education system didn't teach us nutrition. We have several clients that are physicians. They'll tell you, like, we didn't take any nutrition classes. Like we learned through, like, I guess anatomy 1, maybe, about some stuff. But besides that, no one taught us how do we manipulate nutrition for our own health. So I have to learn. I'm eating carbs. I have some people eat oatmeal and they're like, oh, I'm getting my protein in. I'm like, no, that's all carbs. So I have to learn, what I'm putting in my body, and just being conscious and aware makes us make better choices. And then we have to lean into the next phase of that is like, I have to track consistently what I'm putting in my mouth, and I have to start going after certain goals. And if I stay in that pathway consistently, then I can get results. But you do jump back in the rut, I guess, the undesired rut, every time you take these little mini breaks that are unscheduled.
Yeah. I think where a lot of people fall into traps is they want to do everything at once. It's almost like an all or nothing mentality where it's like, well, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it all right now. And then inevitably, right, life is going to happen and it's, life's going to get in the way and you're not going to be able to do all of those things. And it's going to get frustrating and it's going to, cause you to question like, well, I'm not seeing results yet, when you're focusing on all of these different things at once versus just focusing on the one thing that takes you to that next destination. It's like following a GPS, right? You can't get to, I was going to say New Hampshire without going through New York, because that's my point of reference. But you're going to a destination, right? You have to go through stoplights. You have to go through different towns and different states in order to cross the country. You wouldn't just be like, oh yeah, why am I in New Jersey or why am I in Philadelphia? I'm trying to get to New York. Why am I not in New York yet? It's like, well, there's other stops along the way that we have to hit before we can get there.
And it's so powerful you mentioned that. The reality is that in every other area in our life, we're taught that.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Little Johnny wants to be an engineer, right? He's playing with toys, or Johnny doesn't really want to be an engineer. His parents want to be an engineer. He just wants to play with Lego. But then at some point he buys into the dream and he wants to be an engineer too. But they go, well, you got to go take some engineering classes, while you're in high school, and then you got to take some engineering classes, and you have to have an engineering major in college, and then you can apply and become an engineer. And so in every other area in our life, we're taught that you have to go through these progressions, but understand if you're like, I think it was Hitler that said, if you're told a lie often enough, you'll believe it's true.
Oh yeah.
I know initially you're like, Evans, you're about to quote Hitler.
I was like, where is this going?
I can see it on your face, but it's the truth, right? So if you're taught a lie long enough, you'll believe it's true. So when you turn on the marketing and advertisement through social media channels, like we're on social media now, or in these different spaces, well, there's a lie being promulgated to you that, hey, so-and-so and all these people did this really fast, so I can do it really fast too. Mm-hmm. And the reality is that you already did it fast.
10 times.
Correct. We don't have a weight loss problem in America. We have like keeping the weight off problem.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So it's really about like what you said. It's about identifying what is the next best step and realizing that some is better than none. Mm-hmm. It's not all or none. It's like, what's the sum I can do? And as we wrap up here in this last couple of minutes, I just want to talk about this idea that fat loss is not a linear equation. Mm-hmm. We see the marketing calories in minus calories out equals fat loss. And that is 100% true. Mm-hmm. Yet there are variables that determine your out. Mm-hmm. And that's where it's a little confusing for people, where it's like, hey, you know what, if my stress levels are a little higher, that's going to affect how many calories my body burns. If my sleep is off, that affects, if I don't hydrate enough, that'll affect fat loss. But mm-hmm. But me adding water doesn't increase or decrease the calories that are going in, but has this physiological change on how well my body processes fuel. Mm-hmm. So you take two people, the exact same diet, the exact same body composition, everything is the same workout plan, same everything. They're a set of twins, but one person has poor sleep quality, has high stress life, has has hormonal problems, doesn't sleep well, has all these different things, and the other person doesn't have those issues. They're both following the same plan, even eating at the same time, and one person is going to crush the other person when it comes to goals. Mm-hmm. So all those things, weight loss is really like, I lost some, I plateaued for a little bit. I lost some, I plateaued. I lost some, I plateaued. Mm-hmm. Everybody's chart that rarely do I see a chart like this. And honestly, if I see a chart that's just constantly losing, I force in a plateau. Mm-hmm. Because there is something called set point theory that your brain says, hey, listen, we're only going to be focused on maintaining the weight that we've held the longest, like for a 3 or 6 week period of time. So if my brain is stuck at 215, I can cut down to 185, and I could just stop dieting and regain to 215 or 218. My body's going to do whatever it can to go back to homeostasis. Whole nother talk, but that's a huge part of the science, is realizing it's not a linear journey. So, again, why is this so challenging? It's because you got to change your habits. And what you're looking for is not the diet formula. You're looking for the habit formula that can help you support your lifestyle goal long term. And once you got it in, it's just about locking in, lean into the discomfort, and realizing, Alyssa said, that you want to create a different rut. You want to create a rut that will support you towards your goal. So hopefully this added a lot of value to you. Like, comment, share, post, all this kind of good stuff that they say and all the videos that are out there. But we just want to help you guys. I haven't come on live probably all year. This is like my first time here all year. So just been doing a lot of stuff at CMU Fit. That's all been great on the back end. But I wanted to chat because I'm like tired of people being frustrated, because it's not even your fault. It's just that everything you've been exposed to has been telling you that you should get it so much faster.
Yeah, absolutely.
I wish it was like that, when it came to my income and my investments and my job, right? It's like, why am I not there faster? And it's like, look, it's going to take time, and so will it on your fitness and health. So, that's all I have here. Hopefully it's added a lot of value. I'll talk to you guys in a bit.